That's how you make friends, right?
Yeah, you lunge towards them and do sick flips. That's why we're friends, right?
Right?
I did it in D&D, though, not in real life. That ghost is chilling.
Hey.
He's like, hey, leave me alone.
Well, anyway,
Just
hello.
harass everybody.
God, I love these games. Hello and welcome to another Nerd Herder's First Impressions. Today we are checking out Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which came out today, October 5th. Mm-hmm. I went ahead and went through the whole intro. You know, it's pretty cool. Right off the bat, you're thrown into this battle between the Spartans and the Persians, and you're playing as King Leonidas.
This great Spartan fight cutscene.
Yeah, that was really cool.
A little bit of gameplay as well.
But, you know, a lot of cutscenes, and it was basically the tutorial, so I wanted to get past all that before starting the video. But I gotta say, the biggest thing that stood out to me was that right off the bat, you're introduced to a modern era scenario, just like the old games, which is something I was really wanting to see in this, was a compelling setup for some present day, you know, giving us a reason to be in the Animus. Which I feel like was severely lacking in the last several games, so I'm very excited.
I was going to say, they brought that back, and they also mentioned somebody else that you're like, oh, they brought blah 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 back. Is it like another thing from the modern era? I'm not familiar with these games, so I can't.
I don't know. I didn't recognize either of the characters. They're new characters.
Well, not the characters, but they, like, in the modern day, they, like, mentioned...
Oh, Abstergo. Yeah, they
That's
mentioned Abstergo, which, of course, is... has been the Templar front, corporation in the modern times, which was turned into a video game company, Abstergo Industries or Abstergo Video Game or whatever, in Black Flag. So that was kind of weird, and I'm not entirely sure if anything played out because I have not played all of Origins, which was the game previous to this. I've only played a little bit, so I'm not sure.
I didn't hear great things about Origins, though, so it's fine.
Right, and I played several hours, and there was no out of the Animus stuff. So right off the bat, you know that you're in the Animus trying to find out information about this spear that was found, and this book. There's these two lady historians, we don't know. Modern-day assassins, maybe? We've yet to find out. But they seem like interesting characters, and they're using an Animus, and they're trying to hide something from Abstergo. Like, I'm already grabbed. I'm already excited. I'm like, yes, this feels like the old stuff with Desmond and, you know, trying to hide the, you know, their Animus and hide their findings. Ooh, is that a wolf? Ah!
I should look out.
So I'm really excited right off the bat with that. But I did go ahead and skip that for the sake of not having a bunch of cutscenes in this video. So we are in the open world aspect now. I chose...
So you have to mention that you have to choose between two characters, Spartan or an
Athenian,
Athenian,
I'm assuming. So I chose Cassandra, the lady, who I believe is Athenian. Even though the beginning... All the advertising I've seen is with Alexios, the Spartan. And so I chose Cassandra on purpose because I haven't seen any marketing about her,
man.
But like so far she's a total badass. She dual wields. Yeah, like,
yeah.
So we're just going to get into it. So here we go. Something I noticed is the combat system is similar to Origins, which was kind of a reworking of the combat system that we had up until that point, which I like. I like this revamped fighting style. With, you know, using R1 for a basic attack, R2 for a strong attack. You have different special moves. You know, there's still a parry. It just seems easier to use.
I know we chose the Athenian, but I want that sick Spartan kick from the opening cutscene to just be for all the characters, but probably not.
Probably not, but I know it was a pretty big part of the game, advertising. I know Mark had to make like a whole video montage of him just kicking.
Spartan kicking everything.
Yeah. That was something IGN put out a few weeks ago. I'm pretty sure Mark was involved with that.
I love that there's like the historical landmarks that you can.
Well, and so
visit.
that's something that has always been great about the Assassin's Creed games is the incorporation
Stand on the Aaron.
of the altar. I know. Well, I'm just trying to get a good viewpoint here.
Yeah.
The incorporation of real landmarks. That's a cool
I
statue.
know, right?
Something I used to, and I think I mentioned this in the podcast that we did last week about the Assassin's Creed franchise thus far, was I talked about how, as when I was younger playing the first Assassin's Creed game and also Assassin's Creed 2, is after I beat it, I would just wander around on my horse and go to the landmarks and just read the pages that, there was always an option where it was like, read more about this site, and then there'd be a whole bunch of facts.
That's something that I would do too, though.
That was so much fun. That'll be
Although
interesting.
it depends on the setting for me. Like, I Sam, in real life, want to go to Greece, so I'd probably, read everything about this game.
Well, and the Assassin's Creed 2 was in, Florence and, Rome, and so that was,
some interesting stuff.
Yeah, the Renaissance,
I like
Italy. Who are you? Are you my friend?
I don't know, lunge towards him and do 6 flips. The Greek, cursing.
Right? Ooh, synchronization location. Do I need to climb this thing?
Climb the
Yeah,
tower.
so it's keeping the aspects of the franchise. I don't know why I'm looking at the camera because we've turned the camera off. It's it's keeping
that's cool.
the aspects like the synchronization. We have the eagle again, so something in Origins was that they changed the eagle vision to being an actual eagle instead of this just weird power that you had for some reason. So we have an eagle. I like that. I appreciate that. I know at some point there's going to be ship-to-ship combat and stuff, which was really flushed out in Black Flag, but introduced in Assassin's Creed 3. So I know there's going to be that aspect just because I've seen the advertising and I've seen the posters. I'm just kind of wandering around right now, just getting a feel for the open world. And this really does feel already more so than any Assassin's Creed game so far. It feels like an open world RPG.
Absolutely.
At the beginning, which this was, before this, but the first interaction, there was dialogue options. You could choose your dialogue.
Yeah, and it specifically stated that it'll, change the game.
Change the
in
outcome of the
ways.
game. Yeah.
And I love games like that so much because then it, adds so much more replayability.
Yeah.
Which we were also talking about choosing the character in the beginning. We wonder how much that, sincerely changes. It could be, 2 totally different games for a hot minute.
Yeah. And so something that I had speculated in the podcast was that is this game going to be 2 entirely different games based on who you choose? And the way it played out in present day was there's 2 traces of DNA on this spear, and you get to choose which one you're tracing back to when the lady goes into the Animus. That's pretty cool. Now, it says that this choice is irreversible, so that leads me to believe that you're not covering both sides in this game.
You can't follow both storylines at the same time.
Right.
You choose one.
Which is why I was wondering, does that mean that there's going to be basically 2 separate storylines?
But I feel like if both...
if you played it once through and then replayed it,
That's true. But I feel like if there's both of their DNA on the same spear... I'm inclined to believe that maybe at some point the characters interact in some way, or in the same place, things like that. So, it's interesting.
So here's a little side quest I just did,
Yeah.
and Temple of Zeus. Right. So if we are truly representing Athens or Sparta, 2 cities that notoriously, were very different ideologies, and clashed many times. Are we going to see these characters cross paths? Now, if we don't have the ability to change who we're playing as, which is what it seems to be, that we will be playing as Cassandra for this whole playthrough, will Alexios still make an appearance? Something that I had said would be really fun, again in that podcast where we were talking about, what would you like to see from this game? I said that it would be really cool if you went back and forth playing as the 2 characters, and then in this big climactic sequence, they meet each other on the battlefield, and you have to choose who lives and
lives
who
and who
dies,
dies.
and then you play out the rest of the game as the one survivor. That would be
think that'd
so
be-
cool.
that'd be
Obviously,
like-
obviously not going to happen, but that would be so cool.
That'd be such an insane choice in a game.
Oh yeah,
Oh no, like it would change the course of the entire game.
right?
And like there are some like open world games or some adventure games that have these choices, but they don't seem to affect too much of anything.
Yeah.
But a choice like that would affect so much that like so much of the game would have to be designed around it. And I think
Oh,
that'd
yeah.
be really interesting if they did have a choice like that.
I love her fighting style too.
The instant you found out she dual wielded, you're
I was
like,
like,
oh,
oh yeah, like this is the character I
she's so
want.
cool.
Like, yeah, Spartans are cool and all, and they've got the spear and the kick and stuff, but just, oh man, this light armor, dual wielding, basically like rogue class.
I was gonna say that's my jam from Dungeons and Dragons and in most games.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you chose her.
I'm very excited.
I also like that in the cutscenes there's like some details of like scars on her arms from like
Yeah.
past fights and things like that. I don't know, I like little touches like that.
She's got a backstory, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. So where are all these rams doing on the road? Get away.
Okay, so this is exactly the same as Origins. When you get close to a
You are the
target,
eagle.
you summon the eagle. As you get closer, the circle gets narrower until you find what you're looking for, and you can control
And
the
then it
bird.
highlights it for you.
Right, and then you know where to go. So,
Okay, that's
There
interesting.
you are.
yep,
Let's see what you've gotten yourself into this time, Marcos.
so right there.
Yeah, Marcos.
That's who I need to
Yeah,
find.
your new winery friend.
Right. Yep. Now, oh, interesting. This was my one complaint about Origins, was that when you use the bird and then you exit out, the game has to briefly reload.
Uh-huh.
And I see that that has not changed. That's annoying, in my opinion. I know it's hard when it's such a big world to have this seamless transition, but it's a seamless transition to the bird. I don't understand why we have to reload when we go back to the character.
We just have
I
to
don't
take
know.
a moment
That-
to like
It's just me being
catalog the waypoint essentially. But
Yeah, it's just me being overly nitpicky. Like, it's not a big deal, honestly. It's not a big deal at all. But
I feel like
just,
it's only a big deal if the load times are insane.
which it's
If-
not. It's
Yeah, I was
like
gonna say, it's
maybe
not a
2 or
long
3 seconds.
load time.
All right, so that was a pretty extensive cutscene,
A little bit.
and through it, we got to choose a horse. So that was cool. There was different horse options, and then we were, oh wow, this horse is fast. That's much faster than horses I'm used to in this game. Which makes sense because the map is huge for this game.
It's true. Have we shown the map yet?
Oh man, yeah. Let's
Don't
pull
think
up the
so.
map real quick. Look at this. Look at this. It's the entire country.
All of Greece, all
It's
the islands.
All of Greece, all of the islands, which is how I know we're gonna get a boat at some point.
right.
Um,
Otherwise they wouldn't be labeled.
But my goodness, is this amazingly large. We're just on this little island right here. This is just everything we've been doing so far. So I am super excited for
Absolutely.
just the amount of gameplay time that this game is going to take.
I know. And it's so heavy on exploration too, which is so
Right?
cool.
Like, there's these caves we're coming up on. That guy's got a quest. We were just given 2 quests from that cutscene to get the money back from the guy. The girl that we found earlier was just kidnapped. There's so much going on.
I like it.
And we're only like 20 minutes into this thing, and the first 10 minutes was me just wandering around.
Yeah. And I do like that when you were choosing a horse, there's like 3 horse options. Each one of them does something like a little bit different. So this game sort of gives you the chance to sort of play
Some
like
customization.
yeah, I was gonna say customize and like whatever
I'll
you
sneak
consider
up on them, I like
optimization for your gameplay. Like
Yeah.
if you're someone who wants to just jam through it and go fast, you can choose the fastest horse,
Right?
etc., etc.
Well, and I had the choice to either just beat up the bandits or kill the bandits, and that was going to affect the outcome. So, you know, this. Yeah.
No one's gonna buy me from you.
Who's the
They're all
Cyclops?
poor.
I hate them. Bullet though. She's right there.
Right?
Can't let the rest of the Valakias get
Well,
away.
and that's always a huge part of these games is the stealth.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
You're an
whistling.
assassin, man. Whistle.
Right? Yeah, whistling is something that was introduced. Gosh, I can't remember what game, but it was pretty hilarious. You use it a lot in Black Flag. Whoa! The the takedowns just get better and better every game. I gotta say, like, yeah, that was good. But you can target someone, whistle, they come over to the grass, and you can just take them down one at a time. And that's something I've always loved about the franchise is the balance of stealth and just brute force. And when you're playing through the storylines, you know, you're railroaded one way or the other. You know, this is either a stealth mission or this is a battle quest or whatever. But when you're
Time to get Phoebe out of
in the open world, you kind of can choose how you want to play. You know, I could have taken all those guys on head on or done what I just did of sneaking around. And that's something that I've always enjoyed about this series. Okay, so that was a weird flashback sequence. I guess Alexios is actually her younger brother, so I thought they were completely separate. I guess my assumptions were wrong.
Yeah, I thought they were just like two different warriors on like two separate factions.
So maybe she is also Spartan. I guess I really either read something incorrectly or misremembered something in thinking that she was Athenian, but
Talos the Stone Fist.
I'm not sure.
That's just
I'm
what
not
I need.
entirely sure how I
Another broken nose.
feel
I'm going to have to
about
take care of that.
the two playable characters being siblings. Ooh, bounty hunters. Okay, so that's back. That's cool. Since in Syndicate, the first time they introduced two playable characters, they were siblings. Ooh, Talos the Stone Fist is hunting me. That's cool. So you can actually see your enemies here. But yeah, anyway, so I'm not sure how I feel about them being siblings. Obviously, they are in different places right now. Gosh, this is just one of those things where I'm just going to have to play more to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
And to see if I'm happy with the result or not.
It depends on what they do with it, I think.
Yeah.
They make it different enough from Syndicate and more... I don't know. As long as they keep it interesting, man.
Right, yeah, exactly. And I understand that with the whole keeping it in the family thing makes sense because Assassin's Creed, it's always been about DNA. Not that assassins are all related and stuff, but just, you know, they've always traced the Animus back through DNA. And in the early days, it had to be through ancestors, which was why Desmond Miles was so important to both the Templars and the Assassins.
Exactly.
Because he was the only way that you could access Ezio.
Yeah, he was the bloodline.
Right, and obviously that went out the window as technology progressed, and of course with Desmond dying, I can't remember if they like took his DNA and uploaded it into the Animus, and that's how anyone was able to access it. But of course, Desmond's not related to every assassin; it was just specifically through Ezio. So I'm still a little fuzzy on all that traceability stuff, but I'm sure we'll find out later how the two ladies in the modern age are using the Animus,
I'm sure.
and how they are accessing these two. And maybe it's because they're siblings that they are able to do it. I don't know. So many questions, but this market is really cool. I just love the detail in this game.
I like it.
They've really added a lot, I think. Again, the worlds have always been really detailed, but there's just so many... Just the water and the puddle and ropes and trash and just things all over. There's just so many individual pieces to the environment.
There's a lot of like small details that are...
Yeah. Even more so, I think, than Black Flag or Origins, which were both extremely detailed games. I'm not talking much about Syndicate because I did not play it, and I'm not talking at all about Unity because I did not like it whatsoever.
We don't speak of Unity.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't know.
I just think it's important for, especially like open world adventure games, to have a lot of the small details and things like that for like marketplaces and places that are inhabited, because otherwise it winds up feeling like really empty and weird.
Right.
If you're adventuring and you're in a town, you want to feel like you're in a town. You don't want it to feel like this is a place where there are 3 people with quests.
Right.
Right.
I can steal
You
money.
want the town to be alive. You can steal money.
Yeah.
It's my new favorite game.
Got a loot chest here. I'm gonna steal. Yeah, I'm not talking to people because I don't want this to just be chock full of cutscenes. So I'm just kind of wandering around and observing. I know I'm not really progressing in the story much, but that's okay.
Still going about.
Yeah,
the
as our
game.
first impressions, I really just want to get a feel for the environment that we're in. Climbing, of course.
The Greek architecture into the
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed. I
I
like it.
And something also that I noticed with Origins, and it seems to continue in this, is you can climb anything. You're no longer really railroaded by like, well, there's a ledge over here, but not over there. So if you want to climb this building, it has to be this way. You can just kind of grab onto anything now.
It's not so much like there's an obvious right way to go about something.
Right, it's
anymore.
just
Now
if it's
just
within the proper height, and you can jump up and get up there,
like, that's
which
neat.
I appreciate.
Yeah, it makes everything interactable rather than.
Right, yeah. So, ooh, what was that? Pick up. Can you dig like through these trash piles and pick up a torch? Oh, what? Oh, that's cool. Look at that. I got a torch.
Do you have to have it lit the instant you pick it up, or
I don't know. It did light as soon as I picked it up.
can you put it in your pocket?
Just
You're crouching and holding a torch.
don't mind me.
You can't see me. I'm an assassin. I'm stealthy.
Right?
Everyone's like, what is wrong with Cassandra?
Oh, I heard someone gasp. They definitely saw me steal that. Someone was like,
You're like, bye.
Bye.
Me and my torch are out of here. How many your horse?
here
There
he
you
comes.
are.
Here's Phobos.
Here, you hold your torch, Andrew. Yeah.
Ha
Now the hunt for the headless horseman begins.
Oh, I can smack people with the torch. 10 out of 10.
I want Mark to make a montage of this.
Of just lighting
Of
people
lighting
on fire.
people on fire. And the tent! You can burn the whole marketplace down, Aaron!
Oh, I appreciate this so
Aaron.
much.
Does it, like, go out after a second, or does it keep burning? It looks like it keeps burning
they
because that
knocked-
one's still on fire.
Oh, it's like burned. Like,
Oh.
okay, I gotta say,
You just ruin everything.
I really appreciate that though, because you could never really affect the environment too much.
Right now you can burn in a marketplace.
Yeah, like you
And
could
then-
always knock people over, or you know,
yeah.
you used to be able to kill civilians a limited number. You know, they did away with that several games ago, but you can still like push people or whatever, and you could knock like things out of their hands that they were carrying, but you could never really change the environment too much. So it's good to know that when things burn, they burn
Yeah.
and they stay burnt.
I'd like to comment in the top left of the screen. It says killing Durus is always an option because that's the guy we're going to be like, hey, give
Yeah.
me my money that I need.
Right? So again,
And
more options in the even when you're playing the quests, you can execute them in different
Yeah.
ways.
it depends on how you want to play it.
Diplomacy or just kill them and take what's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Here's a statue with the. Is this one of those where you can read about interact? Message board. Oh, that's a little different. Okay. Cool. Wow.
Mercenary work. So if you want even
Neat.
more side quests,
Wow. Okay.
which I'm all about.
Right? This game just it just seems huge. I mean, we haven't even gone outside of this tiny little village, and there's just so much. So I think that's going to wrap up our first impressions. I don't want this to drag on for too long, but I'm very
I
excited.
feel like we've gotten like a good handle on the start of the game, though.
Right?
I think it's pretty cool.
Right? I can't wait until I have enough money to actually buy it.
But for now, we could just keep playing more.
Yeah, I couldn't drop $60 right at the moment, so I rented this from Redbox, which is what I've been doing with the last several games that we've
Which
sampled
honestly,
here.
I recommend if you want to try out a game, but like you're not totally sure if you're.
Oh, it didn't kill him.
I
Oh
was gonna say,
shoot!
you're
Oh no!
not totally sure if you want to spend $60 right away.
Well,
I would recommend Redbox.
So I
can get
know that I want to spend the $60 now, 100%. I'm not going to be able to do it until the next paycheck, but like I'm going to do as much as I can
I'm right
in
there
the
with
next
you.
3 days because that's how long I rented this for.
Yep.
And then I will definitely buy it. Again, you know, like we said in the podcast, the Assassin's Creed franchise is one of my all-time favorite video game series. Even though there's been a lot of ups and downs, and I've had a real love-hate relationship depending on which installment of the series it is.
That's most of the fan base for this game, though. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know terribly much about the Assassin's Creed games, but I know what people say when new ones come out and their
Right?
thoughts on it.
Well,
and it seems
and-
to be very hit or miss. Like, you love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
So.
And I am...
Oh, chick. Look at the little chick. The last witness.
Loot.
She's like, he's killing our
Cool.
chickens.
I got soft leather. So yeah,
Anyway.
I am very excited. I feel like I playing this game so far. I feel like I used to feel playing the Ezio trilogy, you know,
That's
where it was. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I keep saying I'm excited, but I truly am. I haven't felt this way about a game in some time. So, with that, let us know if you have played this yet. You know, it came out earlier today.
Yeah.
Was it something that you pre-ordered? Because there's been a lot of advertising. We've known about this game for a while.
Let us know if you're excited about it.
Right,
We keep talking about how excited we are.
Were you on the fence and skeptical as I was because of how the series has been lately? Or did you know, like, as soon as you saw Spartan Warrior, you were like, this is
It's my time.
it. This is the next big one. I don't know. Let us know how you feel. And we will have a link to the podcast at the end of this, the episode where we talk about the Assassin's Creed franchise. So give that a listen. That podcast can be found on this YouTube channel as well as on iTunes, the Talking Nerdy podcast. So yeah, please subscribe, comment to this video, let us know what you think about this game, and until next time, stay nerdy.